family is heartbroken after a cemetery's mistake during a burial.
Relatives tell Fox 17 News their loved one's casket ended up crushed, and you can see it in the picture right there. While the family is now essentially having to go through the entire burial process again. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chan is live in Goodlettsville tonight after speaking with the family about the cemetery and what they're doing to fix this. Amanda.
ReEtta Starnes was 80 years old.
She's loved her family. She loves to cook, bake, listen to gospel music.
Camithia Reece is Starnes' granddaughter. All she wanted was a proper burial for her grandmother. When the family arrived to the burial site Tuesday, they say the plot wasn't ready, waiting for 2 hours.
You know, they start the digging, but they didn't do it deep enough or wide enough.
Starnes' family says the workers at Greenwood Cemetery told them to come back since the vault had damage. But the next morning,
we had to rush out there and get out there immediately because they had made a terrible mistake.
That mistake leaves Reece struggling to come up with words.
They had tried to cover up, like they smashed the vault and they were trying to cover it up with dirt. Just like they was going to leave her like that.
Damage wasn't just on the vault, but to the casket and Starnes.
Is there a message that you have for the family? They spoke with us on camera. Is there a message that you want to send to them? They're very upset.
I'll tell them I'm sorry that what things that happen. Things do happen sometimes. And it's unfortunate it did happen, but we're going to make it right and take care of it.
Can you explain kind of how this came to be? And the family wasn't notified. The funeral owner told me he had to come here for them to find out about this.
No, he didn't. No. I'll send a statement.
Bell's statement reads in part, "We are deeply sorry that this happened as the family entrusted us to do the burial. We have spoken with the family member and intend to make things right at our cost." Starnes' family says this makes the grieving process that much harder.
For what they did to her is unbelievable. Like, you cannot imagine. This is out of like a horror story.
The family tells me now they have to re-embalm her body, find a new casket, and another cemetery.
People who live in Fairview say the area is known for its breathtaking greenery. Because of development and the approach of developers, some aren't too happy with the changes.
People who live in Castleberry Farms tell Fox 17 this part of Fairview used to be filled with trees. Now it's cleared out. Jim McAllister moved to the area in June.
120-foot trees get pushed down, and oh my goodness. I would never have thought that it could affect me that way.
One of the reasons McAllister and his family moved there was because of the greenery, but after seeing actions developers took, he's taking action. We spoke with McAllister's attorney.
I think the difference of opinion that my clients have with the city is in the fact of who has to comply with the tree survey requirements and then the preservation of trees.
Fox 17 went directly to city leaders with McAllister's concerns. Fairview City Manager Scott Collins says they understand where Castleberry residents are coming from.
What the work that's being done on site does meet the city's codes. We've been out there several times.
Adding that Fairview has an ordinance that protects the preservation of trees.
My clients read that this being a large-scale development, it applies, and the city is relying upon an exception for single-family, two-family housing.
I tell you, if you've ever heard a 120-foot tree being pushed over, it almost sounds like a scream.
Our property is just behind me here on Hermitage Avenue. Now that $20 million price tag only covers the purchase of the property. It doesn't begin to address the restoration and preservation of the property on site. And some council members say they want to know that price tag before they'll give the project a green light.
Metro City Council pumping the brakes on plans to buy this downtown property from the state. Mayor John Cooper says he wants to restore and preserve the historic building on site. But Councilmember Courtney Johnston says the city has no idea what kind of shape the building is in or what it might cost to fix.
I certainly don't want to write a check to the state of Tennessee or to anyone for $20 million to then open ourselves up to another multi-million-dollar project to renovate and restore.
Johnston helped pass a resolution requiring the city to figure out those costs before moving forward.
would like for us to at least make an informed decision and get all the details that we need to hopefully make a good decision.
I brought these concerns to Mayor John Cooper, who says he also wants to use the property for a riverfront park and for affordable housing.
I know we've heard some pushback from council members. They're concerned about the cost to renovate that historic building.
Well, the other plans are much more expensive. I mean, it is a Nashville 9 site and deserves some protections and incorporation, a reference in it. This is actually the least expensive way of having it preserved, but the site altogether, it bundles with some MDHA property, so it creates affordable housing sites.
City Council considered buying this same property in 2019 for $11 million, but voted that plan down at the time. The price tag has since doubled to $20 million, and Mayor Cooper says it will likely continue to rise. But Johnston says it's important the city learns all the possible costs before agreeing to the purchase.